Hello, this is Mr. Warren. I'm making an orientation video to help students with their writing assignments in language arts. I'm going to go ahead. I'm using third grade because a lot of the assignments and things are the same. I opened up our fourth quarter because that's the quarter that we're in right now. I'm actually going to go to week 10 only because right now we're working on the science fair, and in week 10 gives you an example of just what a regular writing assignment might look like. All right, so I drop down to where it says week 10 and open on that, and you can see right here there's some objectives there. Um, the objectives just talk about what skills students should be working on for this assignment, and then below that there's going to be some instruction. Talks about what you're doing. Oftentimes I like to include a little video. The videos are usually very short, never over 5 minutes, usually around 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. They're not very long, but they're always good videos. And then down at the bottom here, this is the science fair. It's talking about that. We're not going to look at that, but what we are going to look at is right here where it says click on my document to begin working on your bison report. Now in yours, my document will be up here. It'll say my document. But on mine, because I'm the teacher, it says submission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open that up because I just want to talk about it a little bit. When you open this up, it links you to a Google Doc. And that Google document is one that will already have your name in it. It's got everything set up like an outline form so that you can just type in your answers. You don't have to click File, Save. Sometimes in the old programs when we were saving things, it auto saves for you. So you don't have to do that. So as you're working through here, you just go through and you start read the question, and you can type your answer in right here. Okay. Whenever it's notes, okay, and that's what these are. I'm not as critical on the notes as far as like if I'm not expecting complete sentences, they're notes. So you can very short answers. If it's asking for one of these letters right here, you could just type the letter in like that. Another thing that you can do is another way of choosing this is you could just highlight. You could say, well, I think it's this one right here, and the highlighter's right up here, and you could pick that, and there it is. Now, as you're working on these papers, if you ever make a mistake or you want to go back and you want to change something, right over here is an undo button. You can click on that undo button, and you can see it removes the last thing you did. All right. Another thing that another tool, I'm going to make sure I mention it, is right up here at the top. It says Tools. Come down to where it says Spelling and Grammar. You have to slide over to the right, and then you can drop down to Spelling and Grammar and check. And it'll go through and it'll check for spelling and grammar. If it finds anything, it'll give you a suggestion. You can just click on it. All right. So that's a really handy tool. Where we were talking about notes. Also, oftentimes I'll give you some sources, and you could just click on that source and to help find these answers. Okay, we're not going to go through all of that right now, but I wanted to get right down to where it says writing. All right. In most of your writing assignments, I'll ask for a title. I do expect the title to be typed in right here, right in this little section. I expect you to capitalize it and to have it spelled correctly, all right? Below that, this is kind of the outline I was talking about. It just says paragraph 1. So in this first paragraph, it asks for a topic sentence. You're supposed to type in a topic sentence. That would be based on what the assignment is about. And it even gives you a hint. It says, why is the bison so special? And so you could type in something. You might say the bison is one of our national animals, which it is. And that would be a topic sentence. And then you could start answering some of these other questions. When you do type in your answers, like this one says, sentence describing what a bison is, you wouldn't just put in a member of the cattle family. Now that might be correct, but let's talk. I would just want to point out a couple things. Number one, this isn't a complete sentence. All right, it might be true, but if a standalone sentence, a member of the cattle family, is incomplete, we would have to have something like a bison is a member of the cattle family. Now we've got a complete sentence, but it's still got things that need to be fixed. Look at it. Can you tell me what it is? All right. I'm not going to go very long. I'm just going to come over here. Hey, the first word in a sentence needs to be capitalized. All right. Still one more thing, and of course it needs to have a period right there. Okay. So we're not going to go through every single one of these, but I do want to point out that sometimes you might see this. It might say sentences about the difference between a bison and a cow. Now remember, this was for the third graders, and so sometimes for third graders, I might just want one sentence, but if you're in upper grade, you might notice it says sentences, and that's what I'm expecting. It's a couple of sentences. Again, just like we talked about with the sentence up above, it needs to have a capital letter that you start your sentence with. It needs to be a complete sentence, and it should have ending punctuation. When we get down here at the very bottom, sometimes students get confused about what this means. It says topic sentence from the first paragraph using different words. Well, if we came up to our topic sentence where it said a bison is a member of the cattle family, all right, that's the sentence it's talking about. We just want to restate that, and we might say bison are a very special part of the cattle family. Now I have created a sentence that's almost just like the one up above. I've just kind of restated it, hasn't it? But I didn't copy it. You can see, but it's similar. Sometimes students have actually used the exact same ones, and depending upon their grade level, I haven't taken off very many points. But I would like you to get into that habit of just taking that topic sentence, restating it, and then right down here, I wanted to talk just a little bit about these. It says sentence about what you learned or liked about the bison. That's pretty self-explanatory, but remember, it needs to be a complete sentence. It needs to start with a capital, complete sentence, and ending punctuation. Same thing down here. It says sentence predicting what you think the bison's future will be. This would not be a good answer. Okay, I've had students write in, like that's their prediction, extinct. It's not a complete sentence. Again, they just need to write in, I believe bison will be extinct in the near future, with a period. Now, that's a pretty good sentence. Started with a capital, it's got a complete thought, it's got ending punctuation. And then down here, where it says explaining your punctuation, explaining your prediction, that's where you would say something like, I believe that bison will cease to exist because not enough land for them to graze on. Now, that might not be true. I mean, that maybe there is enough, there will be enough. That part doesn't matter, but at least you explained it, okay? I don't usually mark students off if I disagree with their explanation, but I don't give them points if they don't have an explanation. Well, this has been a very long video. I need to stop. If you have other questions, please contact me. Oh, one last thing before I go is right up at the top, it'll say submit. Now, before you submit it, the very last thing you should do, come over here, do like I showed you, go to that tools, go to spelling and grammar check. Look, it caught that. and you could say accept it, and it changes it automatically for you. Isn't that great? Then you come over to here, and I know it doesn't show on your screen right here, but it will say submit, and turn that in. Thank you. I hope this helps you.